I recognise this. Well, it's entertained and educated millions of people for more than 100 years. But the life-size cast of the dinosaur in London's Natural History Museum is being forced into retirement. Dippy, who's a diplodocus, is no longer deemed relevant to what's happening in the world today. And it's being replaced by a real-life skeleton of a blue whale. Sky's Katie Spencer has more.
He's a familiar face for generations of children. For the last 35 years, it's Dippy that's greeted visitors at the Natural History Museum's entrance. But now this much-loved Diplodocus replica, all 85 foot of him, is going into retirement.
It was time to make a big change, and actually we came up with the idea of displaying an example of the biggest animal that's ever lived. Now, it's not a dinosaur, it's a blue whale. And in fact, the blue whale that we're going to display enables us to tell some fantastic stories about the natural world and man's impact and place within it.
From summer 2017, this will be Dippy's replacement. She's 83 foot long, and most importantly, says the museum, she's the real deal. This skeleton will be suspended from the hall's ceiling so that it can appear to dive down onto visitors.
Moving Dippy is a bold move. He's dominated this entrance hall for decades, but while his replacement is likely to be impressive, suspended from the ceiling of this beautiful building, the question is whether or not it will be able to capture the public's imagination in quite the same way.
The news of a whale coming in, that's, well, obviously things have to progress, but it won't be the same without the dinosaur.
Oh, it's an institution. It can't happen. Really? We're disappointed to hear that.
There's going to be an initial interest in the whale, but then, you know, it's not going to have the staying power that Dippy has.
And over the space of 35 years, I imagine a few people have walked through the doors a few times. So it might be nice to have a change of what's there.
I think I prefer Dippy. I think I prefer the idea of Dippy.
Dippy's cute.
Come on, Dippy. Breakfast. Come on.
Dippy may be a fake, but we got to see just what he'd be like if he came to life in David Attenborough's recent documentary. Of course, it isn't a popularity contest, but if gift shop sales are anything to go by, then the museum's shelves aren't exactly overflowing with cuddly blue whales. The museum is keen to stress this won't be the last we've seen of Dippy. There's even talk of him having his own tour of the UK.
I think there really is a blessing in disguise here for the Diplodocus being taken off of permanent display, and that is it might have the chance now, as the Natural History Museum has said, to travel around the country, to be brought to every corner of the UK to inspire people all over.
Although the Save Dippy campaign is trending online, there's still plenty of time to see him. He won't be leaving the main hall for another 2 years before he's returned to his fellow dinosaurs in another part of the museum. Katie Spencer, Sky News.
Well, public's not sure. What about the specialist? With me is Jon Tennant, a vertebrate paleontologist who taught at the Natural History Museum. It's great to have you with us. It's a great job title as well. What do you make of this move? I mean, you must be sad to see Dippy go.
To begin with, I was a little bit shocked when the emotion kind of kicked in. It was just like, oh, you know, it's an iconic childhood dinosaur, and, you know, it's been there for 25, 35 years now. It'll be sad to see it leave, I guess, on one level, but what it's making kind of way for is just much better, I think. We've had the introduction of Sophie, the stegosaur now. It's actually a real skeleton, so I think a lot of people have had the revelation today that Dippy is actually fake. It's a cast based on the real specimen.
A very convincing fake, but nonetheless fake.
Yeah, apparently it's fooled a lot of people. But we've actually got a real dinosaur now there, Sophie. It's one of the most complete ever found. And the blue whale itself is going to be a real skeleton as well. So we have like that stamp of authenticity which comes with it. And Dippy, yeah, sorry.
I'm sorry, I was going to say, putting the blue whale front and centre of the Natural History Museum, what does that tell us about the museum itself and its focus and how that's evolved?
So the research at the museum, it's brilliant. So it focuses quite a lot on conservation biology, and it's a big thing these days. So a lot of scientists claim that we're actually heading towards a 6th mass extinction, and the blue whale, is actually still an endangered species. Its population size has been increasing recently, thanks to some you know, whaling laws and regulations, but at the moment it's still kind of an icon of an endangered species. And what it can do is tell us about the research the museum is doing and how, you know, we can all kind of enact change by protecting our diversity. So it's cool.
And how much of a lure? I mean, you look at Dippy and then you go into that dinosaur area, which I don't need to tell you is the most crowded part of the museum. Will that kind of, do you think, shift the focus of the audiences come in?
Ooh, I don't know, because, you know, the dinosaurs are still there, and Dippy isn't going away forever as well. So I think we just heard that he's not leaving until summer 2017, and during that time a resin cast is going to be made of him and placed in the NHM's gardens, which will be lovely. And as well as that, there have been rumbles that it might be going on tour around the UK, so hopefully Dippy won't just be for people in London to enjoy anymore, but for everyone in the UK.
Yeah, that's an interesting concept, isn't it? How do you take Dippy on tour? And practically speaking, that can't be easy.
With great difficulty, I think is the short answer for that. I mean, it's pretty enormous, you know, it's what, 25 metres long, so it's no easy task, but it'll be certainly worthwhile if we can keep on inspiring future generations to be interested in dinosaurs, interested in science, and interested in conservation biology as well, I guess.
And the only question that we've been discussing in the office this afternoon, how do you pronounce Diplodocus? Is it Diplodocus? Well, there's several other pronunciations as well, isn't there?
I call it Diplodocus, but then I'm from like the Midlands, so I have a dodgy accent anyway, I guess.
I don't think that's an excuse and stuff, but in the scientific community, that's how
I think it's Diplodocus, yes.
Diplodocus.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Its species name is even weirder. It's Carnegii, named after the guy who found it and donated.
Sorry,
Carnegii, yeah, I know.
Fantastic.
It's annoying.
Excellent. Well, John, hopefully next time you come back, you'll have one named after you as well.
Maybe.
Great to talk to you. Thanks for joining us. Thank you.